bro, you're Unc. Even if I'm hanging with you, like 30 minutes into us hanging, you'll get a call from somebody asking you for advice. But
yeah,
what's beautiful is, it doesn't matter how inane or dumb it is. You do have a perspective and opinion on it.
Because nobody fucking talks to the youngins.
That's true. All right, let's do it then. I'm a 30-year-old struggling comic. I'm working towards my first special. How much in savings do I need to survive without a full-time day job, Unc?
I was told that you need 6 to 12 months rent saved up.
Okay.
When I got Daily Show, I only had like 3 months rent left. I was still booking shows.
Stop, bro. Are you serious?
I only had 3 months of runway when I booked Daily Show. I was opening for Wendy Williams, and that was the only reason I had the money to move to New York.
No, that's true. Extended warranty, worthwhile or not?
Never.
Even with Apple Care?
Apple Care, yes. Anything else, no.
It's true. I worked at Office Max. It's bullshit. There's always a common comparison between Shake Shack, In-N-Out. Why are we sleeping on Checkers?
Checkers is not getting slept on. Checkers is ranked
really
exactly where it needs to be.
You think it's given the power ranking it deserves?
I think Checkers is in the Sonic bracket. It's a Division II school. It's kind of
That's fair.
It's kind of a Gonzaga, if you will.
Yeah.
You know, it can get in the dance, but it's like Richmond Spiders.
But you putting it where Sonic is, it's in the right weight class.
Also, I don't respect any burger chain that has a different name across a different longitude and latitude. Same issue with Hardee's and Carl's Jr. I don't pick a name. You don't get to be one thing on the West Coast and some Checkers and Rallies. So you Checkers on the white side of town, on the black side of town, you're Rallies. Which are you? That's some code switch shit.
So you feel the same way about Safeway and Vons?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
I don't respect.
It's true.
I don't respect any establishment that code switch.
Safeway carried itself with a little bit of elitism.
Yeah,
they kind of look down at Vons, even though it's the parent company.
You know,
how distant does a cousin need to be before it's okay to date them? 4th, 5th, 8th. Where are we at?
We trying to have a baby, or we just fucking?
Baby.
Yeah. 5th, probably at least. You don't want you don't want no issues.
Is it psychotic to demand that grown adults sing to you if you go to a restaurant for your birthday and you're over 40 years old? I stood on this take very hard on Subway Takes.
So what's your take?
This is a note to all restaurants. Stop singing happy birthday to adults.
100% disagree.
Wait, what?
I know. And I didn't agree with you. Only because.
That's crazy.
Only because.
Why?
I'm 2 years, I'm year and a half Shoney's, 2 years Golden Corral. I've sang numerous birthday songs.
Yeah.
It be making people happy, bro. Because how lonely are you that you're at a restaurant and you've requested that strangers come sing to you? Something is wrong. And I want to fix it. How many mass shootings do you think TGI Fridays has stopped?
That's hilarious.
Because some dude got sung to and he was like,
right. Maybe not.
This fudge cake fucking cheered me up. It's pathetic.
He puts the semi-automatic weapon away.
But yeah.
Back in the show.
Only you can call back to my special.
First of all, watch the special, but he tells the story basically. He goes on a date with somebody, okay? This person has a child. You perfectly describe the irritation that you have to pay $74.99 per ticket, which is just crazy when you start adding it up. He goes on this bubble date show. He's like, how good could this bubble show be?
It's a man just doing bubble art for an hour.
Right. He starts describing it, and your description of the exposition is fucking hilarious. The part where you do the whole act out and then it's the world and he adds food dye to it and you're like, holy shit.
He's coloring the bubbles.
Yeah,
He's
I can see North
lights.
America.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But then, bro, the best part of the joke is when you describe his wife coming out and they create bubble art together. And then his description of like, okay, let me get this straight. There's a grown man who's devoted his entire life to bubbles. And by the way, this is a defense of accents. We need to bring accents back, like into comedy. Like, it is funny that like he for sure has like an H-1B green card. He is from another part of the world.
He's Southeast
Somewhere,
Asia
yes,
all day.
Yes.
Typhoon country.
Right. Correct. And then his wife is equally passionate. That skilled and as passionate about bubbles.
The perfect couple.
The perfect couple. And you're there on a date.
And I'm on a date. And then you just realize, fuck, this is not my person.
We ain't gonna make it.
We ain't gonna make it. We're good, but incredible. This is not enough.
You accomplish the paradox. You break up with her, so you kind of are the asshole, but the audience totally gets it. You guys weren't gonna make it. You guys weren't gonna make it.
And this is after a bit.
Yeah.
This is after earlier in the bit where I've talked about the idea of being alone. Just because you're with someone doesn't mean you're not alone. Oof. You can live with someone and still be alone. So be careful about who you choose.
Right.
Don't just to choose because you don't want to be alone. You're still gonna fuck yourself. Yeah. So I feel like my action is protected by that declarative at the beginning of that whole run. Once we get into personal life, and then I talk about my mom and my mom finding friends, and that part I had to lighten up a little bit because I didn't want to get too morbid, but it was the truth. My mom is in her mid-70s. A lot of her friends have died, but somehow motherfucker keeps finding new friends. She ain't never not had a friend or somebody to kick it with for a specific activity. And so you look at that observation and you go, oh, wow. That friend doesn't need to do everything. She doesn't need them to go everywhere and do everything. This is my happy hour friend. This is my book club friend. And we should operate the same way, but we're incapable.
She had the right, she also is from a generation that has the right expectations, bro.
Lower.
Yes, correct.
Much lower expectations.
Correct. She knows what yield her investments should get.
Correct.
We have indexed it wrong.
Well, because we want full ROI on friendship.
Yeah.
You need to be my best friend. I need to be able to confess everything terrible to you. I need to be able to dump on you when shit isn't going well. And that's a lot of pressure to put on somebody.
All right, so I was thinking about the whole theme of friendship. We know a lot of acquaintances. I meet 3-4 new acquaintances a week. But how many close friends do you have after 30? Because you were talking about ramen noodle friends.
Yeah.
The bit that you have where basically your ramen noodle friends cannot be your I'm 52-year-old friends.
Yeah.
Like the people you're meeting
the friends you met when you were still eating ramen and Hot Pockets and party pizzas. If those friendships end, the new friendships will not have the bond of poverty or the bond of struggle.
Real talk.
To galvanize it.
Yes.
Also, some of your ramen noodle friends never upgrade to steak or sushi.
Yeah.
Use a sushi motherfucker now. Ramen noodle ain't gonna understand sushi.
It's not gonna be, don't make it elitist though.
No, I'm not.
You could be like, no, but for real, you could be sushi and like in your soul and the way you think.
Your evolution changes. The things you like or the things you want to do or the things you see value in change. I've learned now I define friendship in a most basic way. Do our kids know each other? Or do you know my child's name?
That's your entry point for friendship?
That's, if I'm tiering, like if you ask me to go through my phone and rank people friend or acquaintance.
Okay.
Friend, the baseline is, do you know anything about my personal life? And do I know anything about your personal life?
Bro, you're about to go to pickup. That means there's at least 30 people that know your son's name. And they know who you are.
Yeah, but that's parents. Parents are a different situation.
I wrote this out. Tell me what you think of this. This is why friendship is impossible in your 30s.
Friendship needs board time plus sacrifice.
And I have time for neither of those things. When you're broke, I was like, why? So you and I met in 2009 doing NACA. I was broke.
Yeah.
I had a lot of time.
4 cities, 4 days. You're driving 3-4 hours a day.
Correct.
From school to school.
Number 2, there's gotta be I gotta bleed and you gotta bleed. So we did our NACA showcase together. NACA is basically this convention where you essentially tap dance
It's the NFL Combine.
The NFL Combine
for stand-up comedy.
For stand-up comedy
at colleges.
Yes, yeah. But for non-elite colleges, like we're talking about SUNY Oswego, SUNY Albington. None of these teams are gonna play in
Division
NCAA
III basketball
yes.
colleges. You perform once or twice over the course of a weekend. A bunch of students from each school are there.
Yes.
Maybe like 100 to 200 schools at a conference.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, 30 schools will book you for the calendar year. I'm sure we cleaned up in our respective 100%. Cultural months.
100%. API month was great.
Bro, Black History Month.
Right.
One year, I worked 23 days in February.
Hilarious.
23 days.
But you can map out your financial future based on that. You book 40 schools, $800 a pop. What your rent is, you're now piecing together your next month's bar. But that time in your life, I was like, you had enough time of just boredom.
It's stagnation.
Yeah, stagnation to just explore. But I'm 39, bro. You're a little bit older than me.
46.
Bro. I actually think when I talk to younger people, I'm like, if I'm going to be really honest with you, it's going to get harder.
Yes, but I'm also not.
You have to somehow bench more.
Yeah,
I mean, and that's what I'm feeling now.
But that's why
I'm like, bro, I'm maxing at the 245 plates. Do not put 10s on there. Like 10s are on.
But I also don't want a lot of young people and tell them, make sure you make these friendships work. People split sometimes.
Yeah,
so you got to respect that. True. You got to figure out a way to replace them. Or you do like my mom and everybody becomes compartmental. It's Ed Norton Fight Club, single serving friends. You are book club.
Right.
You are the person that I go out to the nightclubs with. You're the person that I run with for fantasy football. Like, bro, I got 3 different group chats and I don't think any of the topics overlap.
Who's your heart attack friend? Who's your heart attack friend?
What do you mean?
God forbid.
If I died.
Yes.
If I had a heart attack. I've been working on a list, and this is the other thing with the whole friendship thing. I've been working on a list of names for my son to have when I pass. When you are of age and you think this person could help you, call him. This person I know will do something for you.
Yeah.
Might only be once, but these people I know cared enough about me that on the strength of that relationship, they will fuck with you. But you have to water those plants while you're living too. When life starts happening, you have a wife, you have kids, you have responsibilities, you forget to schedule just connection.
Yeah. Fair.
Because so many other things become the priority, especially with me. And bro, you know me. I'm 8 pots on the stove, always.
You've always been that.
But
to your detriment.
Yes.
To your detriment.
Bro. Yeah.
I think that's from some of the survivalist shit that you grew up through.
Yeah. And like, I think that a lot of that is like, okay, it was Trevor. Trevor said to me one time, he goes, you can say no sometimes.
Yeah.
You don't have to do all of the things. I'm like,
but it's a check.
Yeah, you do. Otherwise, you're stuck driving to San Jose College State Community Technical Aeronautical for $800.
Right. Yeah.
I've done that before. I don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say yes to that, and I'm going to say yes to that, and I'm going to say yes to that. And then I'm going to tell my friends, I can't come to the fantasy football draft in person that I said I was going to come to 4 months ago that you all planned your entire fucking Labor Day around. That's not.
It's not wrong, bro. That's not wrong. That's not wrong. We had to get critical. We had to get critical altitude.
The problem.
You need escape velocity.
The problem that I have is that as a road comic, like all these comics who like take a break, take your time. You got time. It's not a big deal. They're usually city comics who came up in the city. They didn't tour on a regular basis unless somebody took them out on the road, and they did the little regional feature acts here and there. Right. But you either hit a lick on TV, then you went out as a headliner, or like a Daniel Tosh or some arena act, or Gabe Glaze, Joe Coy, Russell Peter, come with me, whatever.
Yeah.
That's usually what happens to a city comic, right? I was a road nigga for 9 years, bro, and I drove every place, opening for every alcoholic, every loser, every washout, every person who I thought was the shit, and then open for them and realize, oh my God, there's a whole nother side of the game.
Right. Yeah.
When you're working the road, when you're working in Lexington, Kentucky on a Wednesday, you're opening for somebody that used to have it or somebody that's trying to get it. So when you've had a front row seat, when you've shared a condo with a motherfucker that used to have it,
Right.
then in my head, I'm going, I know what happens if I stop writing.
Yeah.
I know what happens.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say yes to that. And Trevor, you shut the fuck up. I'll figure out fatherhood. You know, and I'm not saying that's like you said, to a detriment.
But no, because you coming up in Birmingham, me starting in Sacramento at the Punchline. When you start in a B market, you started in Florida, right?
Yeah.
You start in
Tallahassee and Birmingham.
Let's call it a non-main
Birmingham open mic is once a month. So you have to bounce around.
But what you also do is you see what, for better or for worse, is you also see the back end of someone's career. You see someone go from NBA, G, maybe to Europe, Serbia, you know what I mean? You see that part. So you can map it out for yourself.
Yeah.
And it's a survival thing of like, I don't want to end up like that. This is an all-time Roy Wood Jr. story. It is the day of the election. We're working at the Daily Show. Okay, it is election day, November 2016. Is the day of our live taping.
Election night.
Okay? Donald Trump has just won the election. Now, the way it works is basically when you're working at the show, you tape, it was 11 p.m., right?
Correct, 11 p.m. live.
Correct. So by the time we tape, the verdict is out of who's going to be the president of the United States.
It's looking like Trump.
Yeah.
They're already crying at Hillary headquarters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Javits Center, bawling.
Yeah.
People are just in tears. At our office, people are in tears. People with headsets, crying, hugging.
Drinking whiskey.
Door opens, AMV door opens. You come in. Backpack. Bro, you're simultaneously 40 years old, but you're also like in the 8th grade. You got your backpack on. Beats by Dre headphones.
Yes.
Okay. Chicago Cubs hat. Tilted up to the side.
Yep, to the right, a little up.
Okay. Everybody's crying. Bro, you walk in like it's Monday morning, completely nonchalant. Now, I may be misremembering this. Like Marcus Aurelius Stoic. You another day, light work. And from what I understand was, my memory may be off, but you basically were like,
yeah, it's like, oh, y'all thought this couldn't happen?
Yes.
Y'all thought in a million years Trump would never win? No,
what was going through your mind at that point?
Hey, so my pops, for context, my pops is a civil rights journalist. He delivered a lot of commentary about heinous things.
Correct.
He covered a lot of heinous things that happen to colored people across the globe.
Correct.
So my pops is already...
and by the way, not just domestic politics. This is like, he covered stuff that was happening in
Zimbabwe,
Vietnam, Zimbabwe,
South Africa.
Yeah.
Soweto riots. My father was there getting shot at.
Crazy.
With a tape recorder.
This is crazy. Yeah.
So he would come back. I'm telling you, boy, these white people, and you got to get them together. So his speeches were very on task about how America will always figure out a way to betray the people who believe in it. So I just saw that. I was like, oh, this is shit Pops be talking about. Okay, well, I'm already equipped for that. Also, keep in mind, I went to a black college. I was in Tallahassee when Bush stole the election from Gore. I was in the group of students who marched on the Capitol to get Jeb Bush to try to do the recount down in Dade County. We marched on that. So I've seen America be slick.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So this, to me, it was like, yeah, this is new and unprecedented, but I ain't gonna cry about it. I will.
Right.
Me and Klepper had a shot. I'm gonna drink with you.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be sad.
You're like, I've seen the injustices of the world. Yeah.
I've seen the world at
like
its
I've
worst
already
before.
ran that program. Like if that was a software program .exe, you're like, I've ran this software.
I've seen this. It's like the opposite of Doctor Strange and freaking Infinity War. Like, how many possibilities for America to screw over the country? I'm like, 5. He doesn't hold up one finger. He holds up like 40 fingers.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So no, I was just, all right, let's figure out the jokes.
Yeah.
Let's figure it out. Now, I will say that approach to life Probably not the most compassionate, and definitely doesn't help in relationships and love. Because I can be very procedural and just let's get it done. There's a solution. Let's find it. No, don't you feel the emotion? Yeah, but after this, we're gonna need to write jokes, right? All right, well, y'all do what y'all want to do. I've got 4 pitches already in on email on what we want to do tomorrow.
So your mind has already been like the Titanic is going down. Just know that the Titanic is going down,
Yeah,
or it's already gone down. This is what I'm trying to riff out with you. There is the immigrant's expectation of America, and that's changed. My pops got here in '82, and I've told him, and I've been trying to write about this, and now I'm thinking about my son. I asked my pops, I go, is this the same country that you immigrated to? Like, is this the same America? Is this, like, he has this idea, I think it was almost like Sylvester Stallone, Tom Hanks America, West Wing America. And he's like, it's not the same America. It's not, the iTunes user agreement changed.
Yes.
And I'm recalibrating that. But basically the way Bajistan works is we almost treat America the same way European soccer players treat their clubs. I'll go play for Paris Saint-Germain. I'll go pay for La Liga. I'll go play in Saudi.
EPL,
I'll play in Qatar. Yeah, I'll get my bag any which way, and I'll keep it moving.
I think that immigrants, though, especially from your pops era, they got sold the dream, and then they showed up, and then realized that the club wasn't jumping the way
the social contract isn't the same.
Whereas Black people have already been in the club the whole time. And it's like, when is the party gonna get started?
Right.
And then you got people coming in going, hey, we heard the party's here. And it's like, no, not really.
So in your mind, where does Act 3 go?
I think that a great deal of Black America is walking around America the way I was in the Daily Show offices. Now, like the idea of fighting back and we'll see. But I don't think anybody's checked in the fight. I don't think there's a candidate that has yet to show up that can unify or inspire people.
Right.
On either side, truthfully. A lot of Trump, even with the Republicans, it's just lack of better options. Because you couldn't debo his movement. Trump had the streets.
Right.
If he got the streets, there's nothing you can do. You can't fight that.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happens next. I hope that everything goes back state and local in terms of what you care about and what you like fight for. But what
are you selling to your son? Because legitimately, the thing I was talking about with Bina was, we can explore the sign and trade. Being from Beijing, I identify with the diaspora. What do I mean by that? When I go to London and I see Riz Ahmed, Michaela Cole, Daniel Kaluuya, even here in the States, Yvonne Orji, I feel my Bluetooth is connected to the larger diaspora.
See, I don't have that. I don't have that as a Black
So
American.
I'm like, maybe I sign and trade. But so what is...
Where does a Black American go where they can...
How do you explore free agency?
Guarantee and feel like my son is getting something better? I could say Africa. I could say the Caribbean. Okay, maybe. Right. But even then, you got to dig into the whole Afro diaspora and whether or not I'm even wanted there.
Mm.
It's a lot of countries that don't fuck with Black Americans. A lot of countries that don't run with Americans, period.
Yeah.
And a lot of these places where Black folks going to eat, pray, love, they don't rock with Black people like that. You going by yourself, okay, yeah, I bet it is cool. You're a Black woman at a cafe. I'm sure it was great. But if I'm bringing a whole Black-ass family in a U-Haul through the streets of Prague or Eastern Europe, that's a white European's worst nightmare, probably.
Right.
So
Sure.
The idea of even doing the research and the studying to find where I would go.
Right.
I don't know. But then there's also part of me that goes, and this is what I'm more so lean to. I'm 5th, 6th generation, I think.
Yeah.
If I'm not 6, my son is 6th generation Wood on this soil.
Yeah, bro. This is home.
This is my home.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stay here and try and figure out a way to make it better.
Right.
And so with my son, what I've had to give him, and I don't want to plant in my child distrust of everyone, But we talk about every day, trust but verify.
You got to basically capture it.
Everybody you think
Yeah, I
is a
gotta see-
good person,
yeah.
you need to make sure there's reciprocity. Make sure they watering you back. Make sure that the people that you run with mean you well. Move in love, but understand that not everybody does. I love when I'm on the train with him and there's a fight.
What?
We saw somebody get arrested in Target. It was a good day. Because you need to know that that's also the world.
You want him to see what's possible. Got you.
It ain't all roses, big dog. It ain't
yeah.
all the crossing guard knowing your
Woo!
name while we walk to school. Now, I don't want him to see a unhoused person doing a heroin lean on the sidewalk.
I got you.
But every now and then we do.
It's true. It's important.
And that's a good day.
Dude, we went to, so over Christmas break, we went.
I'm not rooting for it, but
Yeah,
you get what I'm
I
saying.
get what you're saying. You can't have an intellectual conversation. They have to experience it. We were in Delhi over Christmas. Delhi's like fucking packed and congested.
Condensed.
It's crazy. It's indescribable.
More than Tokyo?
Bro, it's in Across the Spider-Verse when they all crash into each other. That's New Delhi. My point is that we take the train to get to the village to go see my father-in-law's village. But when you get to the train station, everybody's there. So every class, cast, they're all there. My children see the way homeless people beg in India. And so my 6-year-old daughter, the other kids recognize they're not from here. So a kid with one arm missing, these 2 children run up on them. And, they start, give me money, and I can see both my daughter and my son be like, what's happening here? We're the same age, we're the same height. Like, why do I have shoes and you don't have shoes? Why do I have all my limbs? You don't have your limbs. And I remember my daughter was just like, why is this happening? I was like, I don't know. I don't know why. And then she just goes, I guess we're really lucky. And I'm like, that's her moment. And then it's out of a movie. Just sound up, train nikal rahi hai. Just train is going. We gotta go. The train is leaving. We gotta go. And it was just an experience that, like, I remember being her age and being like, that's the world. You can't.
Yeah, that's the difficult part about raising a kid in congested New York is that you can't avoid these parts of the city, like mentally ill people coming through the train and having to explain mental illness to my son at 6, 7 years old.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, in the South, you don't see that every day. It's just once a year, you might see a crazy person go through the sidewalk and talk to themselves, and you say, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
New York, you can't ignore it because every block is a different reality that awaits them. So I just teach my son how to hopefully be trustworthy, but be very careful and double check people. And when someone, like, I don't want to put this on them, and I don't know if you move like this on the sidewalk, but motherfucker passed me too close, I'll go back over the shoulder to make sure I ain't busting a U-turn behind me. If I go past you and you fall in line behind me, I stop and put my back against the wall and pretend to check my phone.
Yeah, he's always been this way. He's always been this way. You've always, even when you're leaving, like when you were leaving work, you'd have
one ear off.
Yes, bro. This is the 1 ear off, Roy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You've always been on the paranoid Wi-Fi. Always.
Yeah, but that's because I don't carry a gun.
So this is the weird thing. I wanna go back. This is just I just wanted to do this with you.
Oh.
People don't know Roy Wood Jr. came up with the prank call scene.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna listen to Roy Wood Jr.'s prank call. This is Barbara's check.
That's the one that put me on.
Hello? Barbara. Good morning. Good morning. This is Dr. Cinematographer. I call you on behalf of the Federal Social Security Administration Division. I call you about your Social Security check. Yes, ma'am. I called to let you know that we're going to be reducing your check because the government is having cutbacks right now.
This is fucked up. This is so fucked up.
The hurricane and the gas price, and we try to help the gas and
It's
the
timeless.
surplus of the nation. So we will cut your check back down to $250 for the next 12 months. And
Oh, no, y'all won't?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
No, sir.
Ma'am, do not.
You better tell them folks on them hurricane folks. They better get them a job. That works for mine. They better get up and work for theirs.
No, that's ma'am. How could you say something so insensitive? That is not nice to say about the hurricane people because they are trying to get
The hurricane people.
This is not just
Bro.
about hurricane relief. This is about the gas price.
All right, bro. This is a timeless bit. By the way, you can get 2 great CDs for 1 great
Yeah,
price.
especially when I
$15.
used to sell the prank call CDs. I did morning radio for 15 years. And so one of the requirements, so my degree is in broadcast.
Yeah.
I wanted to do broadcast news.
Yeah.
Ricky Smiley, who's now super syndicated, Ricky.
Right.
Ricky's from Birmingham. Ricky leaves the radio station, said Delaney leaves, and they go, we need a new comedian. I go, okay, what do you need me to do? Do prank calls. I don't want to do prank calls, but then you can have a job. All right, I'll do prank phone calls.
Oh, they made you do this?
Yeah, because it's a benchmark. Like in radio, in morning radio, every radio show has the bits that the listeners love called benchmarks. So you can't ditch a benchmark just because Ricky Smiley left. I wanted to do parody songs. I wanted to do fake commercials. Like a lot of that Leo Deblin shit that I started doing at Daily Show, that was ideated in morning radio 20 years earlier.
Gotcha.
But to prove my worth, you have to do the thing that the listeners want. So I had to call strangers every day and get them to cuss me out, record it, and then we upload it. And listeners would be the ones that would put us up to it. Like in Birmingham, Birmingham is a very unique radio market in that it's a community.
Bro, by the way, this is, you don't got to be defensive. This is my sensibility.
No, I love it. I love it. It's nothing I would ever do again because it's such a young man's game to be that verbally reckless with a stranger.
Yes.
I am doing this because I need a job in radio, because if I'm good at radio, I can grow my stand-up because this show will get syndicated. I believe the local show we were doing in Birmingham was going to be the next big show to get syndicated. And then I will sell comedy. I'll sell out all the comedy clubs. So what do I need to do to not get fired? Get black people to cuss me out? Bet. I know how to do that. Impossible request or insult something you love.
Gotcha.
Those are the two, like on some psychological, hey, I heard you were cursing out. I heard you work at a gas station. I heard you was rude to the white customers. Next week, I want you to greet every white customer with welcome massa.
Oh my God.
Impossible request.
Oh my God.
I'm from corporate. I know you be cussing people out. You don't turn the pumps on. You make black people prepay. I don't appreciate that. When a white person come in, I want you to go out there and pump their gas and go, can I pump your gas massa?
That's crazy.
So now your reaction to that is inconsequential.
Yeah.
The request itself is the comedy.
Right.
So whatever you say on the backside of that, I got you. I only need this to go for 90 seconds to 2 minutes.
Wow.
And that's a win. And I get to keep my job tomorrow.
Got you.
That's all I was after.
So this was desperation.
Yes.
Damn.
And it was some of the best shit. That Barber's Check call has done more for my career than Letterman, and it's probably neck and neck with Daily Show.
It's crazy. I first discovered you through this.
I called that lady 2 weeks. That call took place 2 weeks after Hurricane Katrina, when Katrina refugees were being displaced all over the South.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of gang beef because a lot of people were coming from New Orleans and starting shit and setting up shop in neighborhoods. They ain't had the clearance to be setting up. You taking the jobs and the city is donating resources.
Right.
What about the poor people that was already, it was a little bit of tension between.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So then you call a black lady and tell her you're going to cut her Social Security check and give it to people that there's already sociological tension with.
Right.
Powder keg. Yeah. That shit went viral. It crashed my website. I put that on my website in 2003.
Wow.
And the only reason I had pranks on my website is because the IT person at the radio station said, we don't know how to do that. I'm not putting server space for pranks.
Yeah.
I go, it's on the show. People should be able to download stuff they've heard on the show. No.
This is around the same era. I don't know why. There was this era between 1999 to 2003. Like prank call.
The idea of digital access.
Yeah, .mp3 was...
Yeah. Where's that thing from this morning? I should listen to it. Now you can get the Breakfast Club before it airs.
Right.
It's preview.
But I didn't even know you were a stand-up. Like this,
nobody did.
This was circulating through, like my undergrad. We would have these direct
BearShare,
Kazaa, all that shit, LimeWire.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I took those pranks, and then because it went viral, I took those pranks. I sent them to radio stations in markets where I couldn't get booked.
Right.
I'd send a radio DJ 50 pranks.
Wow.
Hey man, do me a favor, air my shit twice a week.
This was like, you were like a Vine star in that way. Like, hey, I got this trick. I got this.
I had 150,000 subs on YouTube in 05, first year of YouTube. Lost the account over some copyright strikes for some shit. I just didn't know. It was YouTube.
Yeah,
you went to YouTube to listen. There was no visuals on YouTube. In the
150K in 05 is like
150K. That's Bitcoin at a nickel.
Yeah, that's like 5 million subscribers.
Do you know what I would have today?
Crazy.
So it was crazy talk. But that I sent it to the DJs. The DJs would play them. Then I would wait a month, call the comedy club and go, "Hey, I'm on the radio in your market. will you book me? And they would book me. And that prank call opened up the entire, anything west of Memphis is because of that prank phone call.
That's incredible.
Where I got booked off the top.
Is it wrong? I've like tried to psychoanalyze this. Is it wrong that your prank calls and Jerky Boys, for me as like a 16-year-old, was some of my favorite shit?
Oh, I don't regret.
Like that naughty, silly goose anarchy.
I don't regret anything I said on a prank. I would never
this
do
is not.
it again.
This is not. This is not
Like,
an indictment of you.
did
I'm talking
I-
about. This is an indictment
I
on me. Does this mean
corrupt-
I had bad taste?
Oh no.
I think it's great.
it was good comedy.
Yeah, I don't
Bro,
know.
but that's what I came up on. I grew up reading Mad Magazine.
Right.
I grew up, there's an album called, it's a parody of Luther Campbell, Two Live Crew.
Yeah.
And it's called Two Live Jews.
Uh-huh.
And it is a full Weird Al style parody
Oh, gotcha.
of Nasty as They Wanna Be.
Yeah.
And it's all Jewish themed songs.
Oh, gotcha.
And I don't know nothing about Judaism. I'm
Right.
Christian ass South,
Yeah.
but this is funny. It's a
Right.
parody. I loved Weird Al. I loved Spaceballs. I watched Airplane. I remember watching the first Airplane when I was 5.
That's crazy.
Didn't even get half of the jokes. Like, that was my shit.
All right. You got the CNN show.
Yeah, so.
Have I got news
good
for
to
you?
see it.
All right. Now, there's this disclaimer at the beginning of the show. It says, this is CNN, but it's also kind of not CNN. Puzzled? Well, don't say we didn't warn you.
Yeah, you need that because people see that logo and
Right.
they just assume, whatever.
Yeah, what is happening there? What's the reason for that?
I don't know, man. All I know about is Saturdays. They talked to me and they asked me, hey, man,
Right.
you want to come host some shit on a Saturday? And I said, not if y'all gonna make me be serious. Because
Right.
especially black men on that network are just so,
Sure.
and I'll tell you the problem.
Yeah.
You have enough of those people who are far more qualified.
Right.
Keith Boykin's great, Van Lathan's great,
Sure.
Van Jones is great.
Right.
I can't do what they do.
Nor
Can
should
I
you.
be-
Nor should you. by
Yeah,
the way.
but okay, well then let me do what I want
Right.
to do. Will you let me do that?
Yeah.
They said, yeah. And to their credit, they kept their promise.
That's great.
So you get to run a fake ass game show, a fake ass quiz show, where you just summate the news of the week and you don't really try to find a solution to the issue, which is a burden that I forgot how much of a burden that is to a punchline. It made me appreciate Daily Show so much more. That Daily Show, you can't just make the joke. You have to, well, whose fault is it? Well, what's the solution?
Yeah.
How did we get here?
Yeah, you have to
How
have
do
the
we-
hypocrisy glasses on. Yeah. The whole thing. Yeah.
Them shits is off at
Hilarious.
CNN.
Yeah.
And so that part of it, I don't know. I like, man. The network as a whole, the thing that's interesting though, is doing other shows on the network. Cause it's like, hey,
Yeah.
motherfucker, go do Jake Tapper. real
Sure. Or go
quick
do
for my-
AC360 or whatever.
Okay.
Right.
But then what is that? Who am I on that show? Because that show's format does not welcome the chaos that I get to do on Saturday.
Correct.
I'm still a little
Yeah.
of a weird
yeah.
free, like even the New Year's Eve shit where I
Yeah.
just go, I don't want to drink.
Oh, bro. that was
Because
amazing.
you fire black people when they drink on CNN.
Yeah.
Does anyone want a shot? Would you like to start?
Oh, no.
Tequila.
The last black man to drink on this network got fired. I'm going to keep it with water for right now.
It's just a joke.
Was that honest or was the bit?
Yeah, it was
but
a bit.
or were you being kind of honest
It was just
too?
being a bit. It was just a
Yeah,
bit. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
underneath it, it's the idea that if I get fired, I know they'll use a shot of me drinking.
Right.
But it wasn't a bigger pontification about
Yeah.
Don Lemon and the dish.
Right.
It was just a quick little joke in
Yeah,
defense
yeah.
of Don Lemon, and we're just being silly. It's New Year's Eve. When you see me on this network, expect me to turn left when everyone's going right.
Right.
But I'm being invited
But that
on
moment made
programs.
national news because of the network.
Because I
you're
turned
on.
left. But that's the whole fucking point.
the whole
Is to
point.
get people to watch. So if you're gonna put me on these other shows, let me turn left. But
Yeah.
that's gonna take time.
Yeah.
And so I'm cool with that. And all the shows, all the producers, all these various shows, they're nice and they let me on and they let me do stuff for CNN Digital. They've really like given
That's
me
dope.
make this your playground.
I want to end with something philosophical.
Okay.
All right. Both you and I kind of became extremely popular through the form of political satire.
Yep.
And a common thing that I get is I get asked about the importance of comedy in the world. I have argued that people over-index the power or the significance of comedy. Do you think people over-index the power of political comedy?
Yes.
Great.
But it's because the world is shittier, and so the laughs feel better. If I turned up the heat in this room, if I gave you a glass of water right now, you'd go, oh yeah, it's a good glass of water.
Got you. So it's a
I
pacifier.
set that thermostat to 200,
Yeah.
and I come in here with that same glass of water, same temperature.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this water is the most amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, it's the same faucet
If it's hot as shit,
that I've been getting the jokes
that
from.
cold water, yeah. It'll quench your thirst. Yeah, it's
So I think the perception of what laughs do for the soul has changed, because I just think more people are distraught and whatever.
yeah.
I don't know. I just think jokes are jokes, and I can point out some stuff, but it's not going to make you go vote. I would hope it would, but I'm not measuring the success and failure of anything that I tell on whether or not it's. That's why I don't know what to say to people sometimes on the street. And they're like, yeah, keep fighting the good fight, and you're fighting the work you do.
Yeah.
I'm glad you feel that way, man. But it's the same water that I was when I was opening for Wendy Williams.
Right. Yeah.
Same faucet, bro.
Yeah.
So,
I think they're big up, and to be generous, they're big up in the quality of what you're doing. I think they're just not assessing the limits of entertainment. At the end of the day, it still is entertainment. There's a great book called Amusing Ourselves to Death. I think you should read it. It's just about literally the medium of television. But I think people are over-indexing the power of that.
Yeah,
its ability to change the world.
to it, but I mean, I just think all of that, like, comedy doesn't change anything any more than you trying to cancel a comedian changes the trajectory of that comedian's career. Most canceled comedians are making more money than when they first got canceled. So, did it work? I don't know, but you spoke your opinion and you made it known. So that matters. But
you're working on the memoir, right?
Yeah. The Man of Many Fathers.
What's
book.
the theme?
It's lessons and values I gathered from men other than my dad. My dad died when I was 16.
Yeah.
So everything I've ever learned from other men, like, how did I get my value system and stories around those particular values and how I pass them down to my son. So it could be broader, philosophical, about the importance of choosing a good partner. Like, there was a comic, a lot of it is road stories. Like, there was a guy I opened for years ago, and I drive to Savannah to pick him up. I sleep on his couch for a couple of hours. I wake up to him and his wife in a full-blown argument about money. We get in the car, head to the gig. Halfway to the gig cancels. And I have to bust a U-turn and drop him back off with the woman who he was just arguing with about money. And I'm like 23. This is a 50-year-old man.
Yeah.
And just the stress on his fucking face of just like, damn, I'm sorry, bro. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
But that whole thing taught me the importance of picking somebody that understands what you're chasing and what you're surviving,
Right.
It could be something like that, or it could be the time I got slapped in the face by a coworker who was on cocaine. Like,
yeah.
But I'm writing the book for my son, bro.
That's amazing.
But it's for other people to check out too.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so we'll work on that. Maybe there's a one-man show in it too. We'll see.
Thank you for doing this, man.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, man.
Tell your children I said hello. You are a friend. I know your children's names.
Hey, he knows my kids, man.
All right, man. Let me get my ass up.
That was great, bro.